Define campaign finance and what you think campaign finance reform means.
Is when politicians raise money to fund their campaign efforts and to take out advertisements dissing their opponents. And campaign finance reform is the ongoing struggle to fix this problem.
Campaign finance reform, I think maybe has to do with how people with a lot of money will support candidates, like almost in hopes that, like, for personal gains.
Finance reform, so you probably need some sort of regulation to monitor how that happens, otherwise people could run rampant with it. And so I guess reform is seeing how it's done now and then seeing there's a need for change, and then the active pursuit of changing that structure would be campaign.
Campaign finance reform refers to attempts to regulate the ways in which political campaigns are funded. This includes all spending done to promote or support the promotion of candidates, ballot measures, political parties, and more. Regulations can be applied to natural persons, corporations, political action committees, also known as PACs, political parties, and other organizations. They can come in forms of incentives, such as providing public financing to candidates who abide by spending limits, as well as restrictions, such as contribution limits on donors.
I don't know what either of them mean.
Yes and no, because maybe that's a problem, but I feel like that's just kind of the way you gotta deal with it. You gotta campaign yourself and finance for yourself, and maybe it's kind of not the right thing, but that's just kind of the way people gotta do it nowadays.
A successful election campaign depends on communication, and communication costs money. However, it is believed by some that money has a potential to corrupt a candidate, to drive him or her to serve their own interests or the interests of their campaign donors rather than the public good. For instance, there is a belief that an unusually large financial contribution could influence the voting behavior of an elected official. Campaign finance laws are intended to reduce the potential for corruption or even the appearance of corruption. The most ideal system would be a complete public financing on all elections. Take all of the special interest money out of the election altogether. Remove all of that and have candidates run publicly financed elections so they can all get their messages out to the public and the public knows where they stand. It's money with no strings attached. Fair elections would return our government to one that is of, by, and for the people, not bought and paid for by special interests. This problem won't fix itself overnight, but before you step into the voting booth for this upcoming election, do some research about all of the candidates and what they support. Most importantly, listening to our voices, because we are the ones they are supposed to be fighting for.